everybody, and this is a different video. I was supposed to do a miraculous movie review, but it's gonna take a while. So I got this another reaction. So we're gonna do a reaction that is basically not part of this Sonic Markiplier-ish, but more like Style Theory. If you like MatPat, I react to one of his videos about Mark from In Space with Markiplier when that was released a year ago, and now I am doing something very different. Instead, we're going to Style Theory, and yeah, there's a lot of shit meaning that I really want to talk about throughout this video, but without further ado, let's get into this reaction.
We're the very best in... Welcome to Theorist Academy, where the very best and brightest of theorists come to hone their skills. And now that you've signed up to join our ranks, it's time to present you with your official mandatory Theorist Academy uniform. You're required to wear this all day, every day. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I forgot the most important thing. We also care about your nutrition here, so we require all our students drink at least 6 Diet Cokes an hour. Better start drinking.
Damn it, man.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Style Theory, where the only thing you need to do to become one of the cool kids is subscribe. Not that I was ever a cool kid in school, I was an overachieving drama nerd and I was proud of it. Feast your peepers on some of this cringe.
Yeah, I'm a champion, yeah!
Okay, I'll give the audience what they want, John.
He didn't change his voice a bit in high school. He didn't change his voice. He's like
Just
Mark.
introduce yourself to me, even if I don't know you. It's a great way to meet
He didn't
new
change his
people.
voice.
And I'd be honored to meet you myself.
My pants had so many pleats it was like I was a hot air balloon ready to take off. MC Hammer's parachute pants had nothing on these babies. And let me tell you, nothing distracts you away from that unibrow
Jesus.
better than a neon orange button-down extra large shirt. Needless to say, my fashion sense at the time was, unconventional to say the least. And I've definitely found better, healthier ways to funnel what I liked about my clothes, color, sparkles, stuff that feels a bit more formal like suit jackets and just interesting textures, into clothing that actually works better and makes more sense for who I am today. That said, I always wondered what would have happened if I went to a school with a uniform. If school would have been easier for me. If I would have gotten less bullied.
I want to
what's
pause.
a style channel
Can
for?
I pause? For all of you who don't know, I went to Catholic schools all my life, meaning we had to wear uniforms. So, MatPat, I don't know if you wanna,
Not to research and examine my past childhood traumas for content instead of going to therapy. That's a joke, by the way. We are very pro-therapy here at Theorist. Anyway, it's time to dive back into the hellish hallways of high school to see whether uniforms help or hurt your educational experience, at least according to science. First things first, let's talk about where the whole idea for matching sets of children came from. When I think about school uniforms, my mind immediately goes to the kind that you see in media. The blazers and ties paired with trousers and skirts. Turns out this is still pretty darn faithful to the original concept of school uniforms, which originally dated back as far as 1222 in England. As I found out, England is basically the motherland for the school uniform. Everyone from the US to Japanese anime takes its cue from England's long history of students in jumpers and knee-high socks.
Okay, we kind of have
always
similar
start
like
that way. Originally, all schools were for men studying religion, specifically Christianity. And the Archbishop of Canterbury, who was the head of the church there, required attendees studying religious texts to wear something known as the Kappa Clausa. Basically, the cross-section of a priest's robe and a wizarding ensemble. The first recording of more modern-looking school uniforms was in the 16th century at the Christ's Hospital School, known for its blue blazers and yellow socks. Look at that dapper dude just rocking his stuff. So fast forward to today with schools full of every blue-green and blue-green plaid version of their uniform. Why are they still considered kind of a controversial subject? It's been like 800 years. Why haven't we figured out whether school uniforms or no school uniforms are better for the kids? Well, to understand that, we need to know what the uniforms are intended to do. The big pro-uniform argument actually falls into 3 major categories: money, performance, and social. So let's break each of these down. Money is pretty self-explanatory, right? Most of us have gone back to school shopping at least at one point in our lives. Not only does the standard back-to-school list involve the school supplies that you need, like pencils, notebooks, and my personal favorite, the graphing calculator, rest in peace TI-83 Silver Edition.
Oh my god,
usually involves...
Pause it! I still have it! I still have it! I still have it. No joke. I still have it. The only reason why I'm having it here in college is because I have static. So after that, after my math, I'm gonna have no more math class. So yes, it's gonna be R.I.P. Damn it, my pet is taking me back to high school day. Oh, hello.
New clothing for the school year. Now, your mileage may vary depending on how much you grow or keep up with the latest trends on TikTok, but either way, the clothing costs for school can add up real fast. According to Statista.com, the average parent was expected to spend approximately $864.35 on back-to-school shopping in 2022. Clothes and shoes clocked in at $431.74, just 87 cents away from being half of the total spending. We also have to consider what exactly is meant by the average. If you're anything like me, my family went to the abandoned mall in central Cleveland where there was like one Dillard's outlet in the middle of this thing with everything 90% off. And then once we were there, we bought all-size extra-large button-down shirts because, hey, those are the types of clothing that would last. I mean, I was wearing stuff that was so big it probably could have passed as a poncho. We shopped very rarely. I was expected to keep all my clothes in excellent condition, and like I said, if you buy the biggest size right off the bat, well, you never grow out of anything. But kids at the other end of the spectrum going to my same school might be shopping, say, 3 to 4 times during the school year, or heck, every weekend. And they were shopping at the fancy places, like the not sale rack in the real mall. When I was in school, if you had those polo shirts from Abercrombie & Fitch that came in every color, you were living it large. If you could swing for dark wash jeans and a sweater vest from Lacoste or DKNY, you were living that rich kid life. The point is, there is a huge range here, and most kids, if given the option, are gonna flex all over their peers in the grade school land grab for social status. The idea of having school uniforms is that it takes away the visual reminder of what could be a huge income gap between wealthy and non-wealthy students.
You know what?
Everyone
I
buys the
agree
uniform
with
from the
that.
uniform store, everyone looks the same. No one is given extra social status because of their clothes. In theory,
I will give
it's
that.
style theory. This principle is totally solid. So let's just see what you're spending on school uniforms versus that average of $430 on school clothes. Well, as you would probably expect, the standard school uniform is going to range in price as well. They can cost anywhere between $25 and $200 per outfit. Speaking of members of Team
Damn!
Theorist who had experience with school uniforms at some point in their lives, they weighed in that their uniforms cost between $50 to $70 per outfit, which fits the range pretty darn well.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty
Yeah,
good deal. But
you know what?
remember,
I'll
you
give
need
my
a
pad that.
uniform for every
For
day.
my high
Most
school
school
and
guidelines suggest
elementary.
6 outfits, one for each day of the week, as well as one extra in case of an art class disaster or something.
Oh,
Taking the
yeah,
average
that's
cost of a
my
uniform,
parents
that means
right
that you're
there.
paying somewhere between $300 and $420 an outfit.
Yep.
Or if we're talking about the very top end of our range, about $600. And all of this is assuming that the school doesn't have extra special features like ties, blazers, or dress shoes.
Oh
So
my
if you're
God,
looking at
I
the average
fucking
cost
hate
of
those
uniforms,
dress
then you're
shoes, to
hanging
be
right in the
honest.
range of the average spend for families on back-to-school clothing, which again is just an average. On the plus side, this means that yes, ultra-wealthy families are now restricted to the uniform. No more rubbing designer brands in everyone's face. However, it also means that there's less flexibility for lower-income families who, if they were allowed, might have been able to make their dollars go further through thrifting or other clever clothing solutions. In short, the uniform is a system that brings everyone towards the middle for better or worse. That said, even though school uniforms are meant to stay the same, the times they are a-changin'. Since the return to in-person schooling post-pandemic, there are more reports of low-income families being unable to meet the
Oh,
costs
shit,
of
really?
uniform regulations. There seem to be a lot of reasons for this. First
I mean, I
and foremost, school
graduated,
uniform prices
so
tend to rise with
I-
inflation,
I'm
but
in
the family
college, so
income,
I-
yeah, that largely stays the same, sadly. Making matters worse, school uniforms are practically a monopoly. They're produced by a relatively small number of companies. That means that the door is wide open for more competition, but good luck getting slow-moving institutions like schools to change vendors anytime soon. It also means that lower-priced or secondhand uniform items are just harder to find. Sure, many schools offer uniform swaps or hand-me-down policies as kids grow up and size out of certain clothes so that uniforms can be passed
We don't
along from
have
class
that.
to class, but this
We
isn't
don't
a
have that.
requirement or standardized practice
We
by
don't
any
have
means.
that.
However, the biggest problem with the cost argument is that outside of school, kids still need clothes. Unless you're wearing your uniform to
Yeah,
the playground, the movie, out shopping, you're gonna be needing multiple outfits. And something tells me that
True.
most kids aren't gonna be super hype about wearing plaid knickers emblazoned with the school crest to their best
I
friend's
want to say
birthday
this real
party.
quick. The picture that my father is using, like the green, is like that. I have that. Not the green one. It's like a navy bluish, blackish mixed with a little bit of yellowish. That's my elementary school fucking uniform. For those of you, I'm gonna say this. My elementary school closed down, literally when I was in high school. So, I cannot. I could say much about my elementary, but I don't know if I can, cause I don't know.
At the jump part. So overall, the grade for school uniform cost here is a D at best. Well,
Yeah.
yes, if you find yourself in a school with cheaper uniforms, it might save on the overall school clothing budget, but that cost savings, if it exists, is going to be largely counteracted by the need to have extra non-school clothing for your everyday usage. Speaking of failing grades, do you want to get an A+ on your Theorist report card? Well, go ahead and click that subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of our new uploads, like the one where
Subscribe
we
to
break
me,
down
too.
why so many Disney villains tend to wear purple, or
Oh.
whether you can actually wind up allergic to color. Did you click the subscribe button yet? Great! Extra
Why am I
credit for
allergic
you.
to
Print
color
this
then?
image out that you see on screen right now and hang it up on your refrigerator. Your mom is going to be so proud of you. Now, back to the episode. Next up, performance. One of the big benefits of
Okay.
uniforms is that they're supposed to help students do better in the two major metrics of school performance: grades and attendance. In the age of standardized testing, grades are how schools evaluate a student's work and how to place them in the right classes, as well as a
Yeah.
measurable way to report on the effectiveness of the curriculum and the school itself. Most public schools in the US get a majority of their funding from the federal government, and how much they're given is directly related to the way students score on standardized tests. And wouldn't you know it, showing up to school helps you pass tests. So schools also encourage a very high attendance rate. There are even places in Europe that make it illegal to pull your kid out of school. And since people believe this idea that uniforms can cause a measurable difference in student performance, the National Center for Education Statistics has reported that the use of school uniforms has risen from 12% to 18% over the last decade. So does the data on student performance actually back any of this up? Not really. Well, there's certainly a lot of anecdotal evidence in support of the idea. The hard facts are harder to find. And when I did find those facts, the results were mixed. A study from 2011 saw that uniforms resulted in an attendance increase for female students of 0.3%, the equivalent of a half day of school. For male students, the
Damn.
difference was even less, only 0.2%. When correcting the data to account for income levels, lower income students had slightly higher attendance in schools with uniforms than those that didn't. But again, the difference amounted to less than a full day
Really?
of school. And let's also be honest with ourselves here, this is likely a case of correlation, not causation. It's not like the uniforms
Okay.
are the things that are making the difference here. Oh, I can't go to school today because I'm busy with the laundry. No, the uniform is likely coming from a school with the perception of a more serious education, or a higher tuition fee, thereby resulting in a greater parental push to attend for all those lower income students. In short, while there does appear to be some level of statistical improvement here with school uniforms, it's far from the resounding success the pro-uniform supporters make it sound like, and it's likely not coming from the uniforms themselves. When it comes to improved grades, that same 2011 study found that the impact of uniforms was negligible. Another study from 2009 found that adopting uniforms showed, quote, a moderately positive impact on US middle school and high school students' performance, specifically in language exams. But there was no
Really?
impact on elementary schools with uniforms. And again, data suggested that these improvements were strongest in female students. More recent studies from around 2018 continue to show only a small difference in grades from uniformed versus non-uniformed schools. But again, the biggest failing of all of these studies is that it's nearly impossible to separate out just uniforms as the only variable here, as opposed to some more obvious factors like quality of the school, quality of the teachers, funding for those schools, all
Yeah.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, this is just one big case of dirty data. Overall, in this category, I can only give uniforms a C-. Sure, they seem associated with some very slight boosts in attendance and grades, but it's also likely that they're just copying their friends' homework to get those numbers. Which brings us then to our final category.
Can I just say, I want to say this real quick. For the attendance, yes, I have, okay, I don't want to glow. Well, it's not really a glow. Uh, okay, so to be honest, I attend school like every day. The only time I don't attend school is whenever I'm sick or something bad shit happens. Compare me to another kid. I'm not gonna say his name or his friend's name. I'm not gonna say it because number one, I don't talk to him anymore. And number two is gonna bring so much, I don't know if it's gonna be drama or anything, but compared to me and to like my other friends in my elementary, I would say some of them, yeah, they got off, but then they got off like too often. I would not too often, but like not, you know. I can't. I don't know how to explain this.
Category number 3, social. Perhaps one of the biggest and most
Okay.
contested arguments for uniforms is how they even the playing field. If you have to wear the same thing, the difference between financial classes becomes irrelevant. You can't be divided by visual signifiers like preppy, goth, or in my case, nerdy theater kid.
my
Instead,
case,
uniforms are
YouTuber
supposed to
girl.
promote a sense of unity, school spirit, and safety. Fun fact, you all
Yeah.
know my partner Steph, right? Well, she had uniforms in school, and when I brought up doing this episode, she had some very interesting anecdotal data to include for this particular point. Here's what Steph had to say.
Unless students absolutely have to buy uniforms from the school uniform store, you still get a huge range of fits, fabrics, and brand names. For instance,
True.
you can buy this perfectly nice blue skirt for $27 from Kohl's. Or you can buy this Armani navy blue skirt from Saks Fifth Avenue for over $800. That's an extreme
Shit.
case, obviously, but the point is that just because everyone has to wear the same thing doesn't mean they're wearing the same thing. And it's still very clear who's got the good stuff. And often schools don't have any rules on accessories like purses, jewelry, even shoes, leaving tons of opportunity to separate the haves from the have-nots and still technically be within the uniform.
And it's not like Steph's experience was atypical.
You know,
here.
she's
Other
correct.
Accounts like this
She's
article from Our
correct,
Family
though.
World tell a similar story. Quote,
When I was in private school, we were allowed to wear green tights under our skirts in the winter. Kmart was the only place I could find them. When I came to school with my tights on, another girl asked where I got them. When I told her, she laughed at me and said she would wait until a more upscale store started selling them.
depending on a school's specific requirements for the items that make up the uniform, a class divide can still exist and be the basis for bullying. But the problem doesn't just seem to be brand name bias. When it comes to bullying,
Jesus
appearance is more than just what you're wearing. According to the Anti-Bullying Alliance of the UK, body image and physical appearance are the #1 reasons for bullying. And when everyone's wearing the same thing, guess what the major difference becomes? Your body size. Instead of choosing clothing
yeah,
that's right for your
true.
body or helps you feel your best, you're instead restricted to a very limited slate of outfits that may or may not complement your ideal silhouette. So that's not exactly great, but what about creating a sense of school pride and unity? Psychological studies in sports actually show that players perform better when they're in uniform, that they have a stronger sense of belonging, and that they play better together. So if it works for sports teams, then why not schools? Well, while school uniforms are meant to create a sense of unity, a 2021 study actually shows that they might be doing the opposite, creating a more lonely, isolating experience by lowering students' self-esteem. The study found that students who
true.
attended schools with
It's true.
uniforms felt a lower level of belonging than those students without uniforms. Another found that students without uniforms had higher self-esteem than their uniformed counterparts. While the studies don't go so far as to speculate what might be causing this trend, here's my hypothesis. Choosing your own clothes, it's empowering. It gives you a sense of independence and it helps you express your unique identity, your favorite fandom, your preferred colors.
That's
And so a school
why
that
in
encourages and
college, we
fosters
just choose whatever
individuality
the
is one
fuck
that
we
you're going to
wear.
likely have more positive feelings towards. It's just a fundamentally different situation than with a sports team where the whole purpose is to create this us versus them mentality. This is also different from what we see in international schools like in Japan, where a sense of communal belonging is just a critical part of their national culture. Honestly, that idea of individuality versus community probably merits a revisit of this exact episode later because those differences are incredible. But it also shows why Americans can't necessarily use the tactics of one culture and expect them to work in the exact same way over here. So once again, when we look at the available studies on uniforms, the data just isn't there to support any substantial difference. If anything, the results appear negative when it comes to fostering a sense of school loyalty and pride. As such, bust out the red pen. I just have to fail them outright on this one. So what does this mean for you or the students in your life? Should all schools just be adopting uniforms? Based on the research that's out there, no. Uniforms just don't live up to the hype. Cost-wise, they don't leave parents the option of how much
Thank
to spend
you!
based on
Tell
their
that to
income
my
needs. The clothing
elementary-
also isn't
close
as
elementary and
multi-purpose
high
as your
school.
traditional school wardrobe. On performance, at best, you might be getting an extra half day out of students, but that's likely due to other external factors. And while they might be trying to foster a sense of school pride, it looks like it might actually be coming at the expense of fostering a sense of independence and individuality. So if the data is murky at best, why then is the school uniform market only continuing to grow? Why are more and more schools implementing these things?
Wait,
Well,
wait.
it's because uniforms aren't about
Wait. Before Matt continues, what his wife says is basically fucking true. Cause I didn't pause it because I forgot about this, but I want to tell you this. So a mini story time. I got in trouble back in my elementary school twice. One is because of the leggings. It wasn't school quotation school appropriate leggings. And I got that leggings from my mother. And she said it was okay. And they called my parents, and my mom's like, "Why do you know, it's okay, it's the winter." Plus, it was the winter. I was wearing skirts. And I stopped wearing skirts, and I think it's 7th or 8th grade I stopped wearing skirts because I didn't like it anymore, because it doesn't make me feel who I am. Like, I don't like to be that girly shit type now. But okay, and then another one, I got in trouble again. I think it was 7th or 8th grade, I don't remember, because of the pants. I was wearing school fucking pants, and they got me in trouble because I was wearing school fucking pants. Because they said it was not their brand. I got that shit. You know, I don't know where I got it. I think I got it like what she said. Like, I got it like for a fucking low price. I didn't got it for a high price. I got it for a low fucking price. And they said I had to stop wearing that fucking pants. I didn't. I didn't stop. I didn't stop wearing pants. And let's just, I don't know if many other girls back in my elementary was wearing school pants. Because when I don't know, because when I broke it, I think everybody else is like wearing, you know, school uniform pants. I don't know. Okay, I don't think I'm the only one, but like I'm like probably like owned up to my school, to be honest. I don't know if I am the, you know, quotations, because I don't know what happened before it closed down. I don't know, but yeah, because it's what makes a good fucking point about the price changes and where we got it from.
Benefiting the students, it's about benefiting the school. As I was researching this episode, I noticed a trend. Standardization. I know, that's what a uniform is, but I'm not just talking about clothes. School systems are large, huge, and they have to find some way of equating massively different student populations to each other. Standardized grades, standardized scoring, standardized tests for states, for countries, for college, everything. Standardization is all about making it easier for those at the top level to sort through hundreds of thousands of students and make it seem like everyone is being judged equally. A uniform, if you consider what it's supposed to do, is a pretty logical extension of that very idea. Schools have to grapple with huge issues around inequality, unequal treatment, unequal opportunities for the students. But you know what makes it seem like everything's fair? A uniform. A uniform gives the appearance of professionalism and equality, making it seem like everyone is on an equal playing field so you can judge them all in the same way all the time. It also just looks great on a school's lookbook and is fantastic for building your school's brand. The issue with uniforms, though, is that they cover up the bigger problem, that kids aren't the same. Equality is different than equity. Being fair to kids means treating them like individuals, not treating them all the same. But that's a lot easier to paper over when everyone's wearing the same pair of tan khakis. Does all this mean that uniforms are terrible, and if you're in a school right now with uniforms, you should be rebelling? No. At the end of the day, uniforms are just clothes. You are the one who makes your identity. Your uniform can't. It's also not the thing that's gonna help you pass that math test that you didn't study for. I know that we're all desperately looking for simple solutions to big problems like educational reform, but a uniform is just a pretty outfit that makes the problem look better without actually addressing what's going on underneath. But hey,
You know
that's
what?
just
Fucking
a theory.
agree.
A style theory. Keep looking sharp. And hey, if you enjoyed watching us unravel the truth about school uniforms, you're gonna love finding out what makes Hulk's pants not unravel. You can actually watch that episode by clicking the box on the left. Or if conspiracies are more your
Thanks for watching. If you like it, hit like and subscribe. You want to see more of, you know, this reaction. And I probably would react to some more ish content that I usually like. So, and also for the Miraculous movie review, it is coming up and I'm still editing, so I still need to work on that. So please be patient. But I did enjoy it, and I will give my movie review soon. So I'll see you guys in the next reaction, musical edits, or whatever in general. Bye!